Well, good morning, everybody. I threw a couple quick videos up just on the brake lines because there was a lot going on with Jimmy's loss in his family. We're back at it today. And my back is acting up. So that's the reason why I'm gimping around today. We got this side done, touched up and sanded, okay. We got this done, coming across. The idea is to get this part done. I want to paint the trim around it in the orange. So when the car is painted, the way these bumpers wrap, you can look right down in here. And you can see the green or the primer or whatever's in there. So I'm going to go ahead and pre-paint that. No, I missed a spot. I just mixed up some compound, and I forgot about these two dings right here. Since I'm right here, I might as well get them. I still got to remove the inserts. Got to take a razor knife, cut this rock hard rubber out of here so I don't damage the neck, and pull it out so I can sand and clean. But like I'm saying, I'm only interested in an inch, so I can spray it, and then I'll sand up and down to it, and then the whole car will get the epoxy primer with immediate AC orange paint. Glad that thing didn't take long. So you can see where we brought it down. Got it cleaned up. Even if we overlap it and sand it and everything and primer it, it makes no difference because when you look in there, you will be seeing orange, especially on the bumper ends. This side, over here, required a little bit more fill because right in here on that side, there's a previous body work done, and this body line right here was 1/8 of an inch, and this one was totally gap closed. So I'm doing away with them. I don't want to see them because they filled in part of it. They should have just filled the whole thing in when they shot the car. So I got Bondo on it drying. Probably sanding it later this evening. And I'll give you a walk around here now. And we'll pick it up. Now the trunk is something special. I am going to shoot bed liner in there. It's stout enough and clean enough now, and I can't do the sides on the inside because I'm cutting the wheel wells to put flares on, and I don't want that stuff in there. And then I'll have to just go there and grind it and cut it out. So I'm going to avoid doing that. I'll do it after the fact. So I'm not doing the sides, but I'm going to do all the flat areas. I'm not doing behind here because the way the tail lights and everything fit, I'm going to avoid doing that. But it's already in orange, just like some of the trim. Waiting for a second and final coat just to make it look nice. I got to put some, that's going to bug me till I get something on it. And I hate to mix up a dab of it just for that little, knowing I got more to go after I sand again. Let me grab the camera and we'll give you a complete update. Shall I say a walk around? Because there's a lot going on this week. I'm going to go over and check on Jimmy. I haven't heard from him for a couple of days. I know he's having a hard time. We've all lost loved ones at one time or another. This one came out perfect. These were getting shaved off. Like the earlier models in the 60s, they didn't have these side lights. You got the big tail light with it showing. Why do you need that? Dechroming the car. Okay, we'll do the body first. Come right here and show you what we're doing. I want to cover the engine up here shortly when I really get started on the body work. I can work on the body work when I'm waiting for everything else to show up. That seems to be the game now. So you can see the old body work. And some rust areas I gotta clean. But when I slice this, then cut a second time on it, I'm gonna come out with a 4-inch flare. Should be probably to right there, front and rear. I had this feathered in. I cleaned it up. It was some bad body. I wouldn't say it was bad body work. It just, whatever they used, they didn't work it properly. And some of the paint and the primer didn't bond. And when I hit it with the power washer, it took it right down to the Bondo, which tells me this wasn't etched or primered properly with what they had available back in the day to get that to stay on. See, there's the gas tank. Now, the gas tank can't go back on the car until I get the brake lines, or the fuel lines done and the brake line finished. So while I'm waiting for a part for that, it's another part to put on the car. I got to get the bumper done and back on the car, because it's 100% easier to put the bumper on the car with the gas tank out. And then I'll finish up the fuel line. You can't see it, I got it covered. So you can see right these little dots. Something was on the car when they painted it, they didn't wipe it down. There's also dirt in it. You can see wherever we hit it with the sandpaper, where the dirt was, it just came right off. We're starting some work on this fender. Different ideas of how to etch that black paint so I can at least get it scuffed and sanded. There's a project. Still waiting for the lug nuts. There's only two suppliers that I found that's got these. I got them on order. They should be arriving before the end of the week. Then we get to see it with the tires on it, which also helps when I turn the tires. I can check my clearance. Come in here and do it. I can check my clearance when the exhaust tube comes down right here. Check my clearance to the brake line and to the swing of the tire. Because I'd love to come straight down, 90 back, pick up the O2 sensor, and then head to the rear of the car. Nothing to it. So everybody tells me. Okay, now, today I got to go through all those little white jars up there to find the one that's got my pedal box nuts and bolts. That's what 342 is, a pedal box. I got the new brake light switch to go in it, and I got to get that bolted in. But before I can bolt that up, I got to get it back on the bench. This shaft's got to be cut. This has got to be fitted to it. And then I got to get a tool to offset the, which I should have got one, didn't do it. Set this pin the proper distance, a 1/16 of an inch away from in there. If you don't, you put pressure on the brake system, it's going to not allow you to properly bleed the brakes. So you won't be getting a full throw. So what we got going on is a 3.5 inch arm for the pedal box. The mounting plate in. This is 4 1/4. So we got to take off I'm going to cut off about that much. Then I got a special clevis that goes on here with a pin that works perfect with the pedal assembly in this car. Something actually worked. But that and this have to be made as one unit so I can bolt it in, because as you can see, unless you can turn this upside down, you are not going to get those 4 bolt holes go in here. So when this comes up, it's going to be so much easier to reach up in there and tighten everything up. And then this has to be bolted back in to the firewall, to the frame. And the master booster will be right here. And then we'll set the master cylinder. And most likely we'll have to put the brake, I'm going to have to make a piece to go in here to install the proportioning valve to, away from the heat. Because you got to remember, I got headers right here, directly under this. I can't have the proportioning valve hanging down there. Would not be good. So that's what we're going to be doing this week. Okay. We working on some body work. Got to keep the car moving forward. Once I get the, I got to get the tool. These body lines are going to disappear. This body line and the front fenders right here, this is going to disappear, but it won't disappear until I get the flares on so I can do the whole fender. I'm thinking about removing the British Leyland emblems and putting a V8 on there. So now I just got parts everywhere. Here's the fittings. Everything's ready to go. I'm serious. It is freaking ready to go. There's a special fasteners for the fuel tank. Here's the U-joint. I can't put the drive shaft back up in until the fuel tank's in. Everything in this car depends on something else. I don't know who designed this. But they make it really hard, okay? It's going to be a while yet. But this will get bed liner. The more I thought about it, and I cleaned it up, and it's kind of etchy, rough, and I cleaned it up real good, hit it with some primer, and I thought, why not hit it with a bed liner? It's a trunk. Don't have to worry about moisture anymore. It's undercoated under it, so it'll have this on top of it. It'll also deaden noise. You hear echo now. It'll deaden noise. We got things going on here and stuff going on there. But that'd be the simple, cleanest way to get this done quick. So what I got to do today, second coat on the trim, finish the body work, and get it in this first coat. This clip on the other side is twisted. I'm going to get the ones off of the parts car Saturday. I'm going out there, as you can see right here, it's all whopper jawed. And if I put a pair of vice grips on that and a wrench on the other side, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to snap that bolt. So I'll just go out there and cut those off with the plasma cutter, the chunk of the fender, bring them over here and soak them in Rust Blaster. Let's go up here and pick up one more subject while we're at it. Kind of get everybody back in the groove here. It's my fault, I'm sorry, but things happen. Videos will be running Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I've got 4 or 5 guys following my lead on this build because it got them stuck on their builds. Okay? So I've been sending them pictures, been a lot of back and forth with comments and information and pictures, trying to help these guys So if I'm going to be on here 4 days, that gives me a day or two to respond to all their requests for what parts I'm using or how I did this or that, because they're going with the S10 setup like I did. Here, I'm going to get this on here. I'll post these numbers. I need a regular lug nut. I can't use those acorn lug nuts that come on these cars. And it was harder to find the old style lug nuts than I expected it to be. I found it for $2.65 a piece. They're on their way up from Maine or something up in there. There's a place. I forget where I ordered them from. Now, I noticed this is what you do when you're building. You constantly work on it. See that? The rim on this car could not sit in there, so it was all set, tightened down, so it had a little vibration in the front end. So what I got to do is this one right here. Somebody replaced these lugs and they touched it with a welder. Why they didn't do it on the backside where it made no difference and easy to clean off. What the heck was that? Oh, the arm on my engine hoist decided to drop. They could have welded it back here. You could always hit it with the grinder, knock it off, and replace the stud. Instead, they had to get out here. So now I'm going to have to very carefully come in there with my cutoff blade and cut down along there and clean out that lip of stuff. Let's put this one straight up. Watch. And you can see the gap. Right there. This one, it's okay, needs a little touch with the file, nothing major. This one, just a little wire brush action. But this baby here, that thing would have a vibration to it. And get that thing draw up tight. So we'll have to resolve this issue this week. I can't wait. Several guys are saying the same thing, to see what it looked like with the wheels on the front. I got the lug nuts for this in the box up there. I thought they came with the lug nuts for the inside, but they don't. Well, yeah, or they were lost out of this box, one or the other. Anyway, I got them on their way. And then we'll get these plates on here properly and flush. It's just these little... It's overcoming the other people's work on the vehicle that is really slowing me down. And while we're at it, people, this one's perfect. They didn't do anything to it. The plate will sit right up against there. See, these are the acorn nuts. I just need the basic lug nut because it has to fit inside those adapters. See, I started some body work here. I shaved the light off just And then it dawned on me that I got to come in here and cut the slip off, and then I got to radius the fender for the flares. So now I got to come through about 3 inches and clean it down the middle to work. So I will go ahead and just kind of sand it off. I'm going to invert the front bumper and cut it off. I want more air going in the front. I'm going to drop the transmission cooler down in the valence panel. That's yet to be figured out. But that's where we are, people. Like I say, I'm sorry for the shorty videos on the brake stuff last week. Those are supposed to be merged into one, and I just used them because it filled some stuff up on this channel while we were dealing with stuff and helping a friend out. Probably tomorrow we'll begin the brake booster install. And then I'll make a list of a couple. I got to get that tool ordered to set the master cylinder to the brake booster. And the hot water pipe connection and the new elbow for the water pump. Then I got everything to finish this up when I get in there. I can't do one thing straight through. This car won't allow it. I'm not going to try it. I'm tired of arguing with it. So people, like, subscribe, and get your build on.